Welcome to the TechHub.training Excel Campaign Finance Challenge solution. So here we have our data, and I created three separate tabs for each pivot table. So the first question asks us to compare the total contributions of challenger campaigns with the other designations. So we're going to want to come up here and insert our pivot table. We'll come here and grab all of our data. You can do so by clicking Control A. And then first we're going to want to filter out all of the data we don't really care about and that's irrelevant. So we're going to come here to the candidate office they're running for. We're going to specify that we want just the House races. And then we're also going to come to party affiliation. And we're going to actually drop this into the rows section because you can come here and this allows you to filter when you want a field in your rows or columns. So we're going to filter out all of the parties except for Democrats and Republicans. And then we want this designation. We'll drop that above the party affiliation so that we have a nice breakdown within each designation. So we're going to want to compare the average total contributions. So we're going to find our total contributions field. We'll drop that into values. And you'll notice that it automatically sums this field. And we actually want the average. So we'll come to value field settings. And we'll click on average, click OK. And then this should give us the average per race for each party and for each type of race they're running. Now we're also going to want to come here and clean up this number format just for it to be more attractive. We'll click on currency or counting and that will give us this number in dollars. So here we have a breakdown of the different types of races and we can see that the director's assumption was wrong in that challengers actually don't spend, they're actually the type of race that spends the least compared to incumbents and open seat races. So moving on to the second pivot table, the director wants to know how many dollars were spent on the campaign per vote for both of the major parties. So again, we're going to come here and we're going to filter out the irrelevant data. Click on House. And we'll also filter out the parties. And you'll notice that since we already filtered it out on the other pivot table, it now keeps that as our default. And then we actually also only want the candidates who have won their race. So we're going to come down to the winner field and we're going to drop that into our filters so that we can just get the winners. Okay, and then since we don't have a field that tells us the average that we've spent on a vote, we are going to need to calculate that with a calculated field. So we'll take our total contributions and we'll keep that as a sum. And we'll also come down here to votes. So we're going to want to divide this number, the total contributions, by the number of votes so that we get the amount that was contributed per vote. So in order to create a calculated field, we come up here, click calculated field, and we're going to want to name it something relevant. Oops. So we'll name it average contributions per vote. Okay, and then we'll want to click on our formula. So we're going to want to take our total contributions. We'll insert that. You'll see it inserts into the formula bar. And then we'll divide that by the number of votes. Insert that. Click OK. And then it adds that in. So we're going to want this in a format so that it's obvious that it's in dollars. And we can see that the director can expect to spend about $9 per vote. So moving on to the third question. So we want to separately display the top 10 candidates of each major party who have personally contributed the most to their campaigns. So we are going to again do our filters. Grab our party affiliation, drop that into our rows. It's already filtered. Then we're going to want the names of all the candidates. We can drop that under so we can see what their party affiliation is. So now we have all of them, and we're going to find their personal contributions, their candidate contributions. Drop that into the values, and we'll sum those. Now, in order to get the top 10, we'll come into here. You'll see that we have our filter for the party affiliation, but you can change, as long as you have that field in the rows, you can change that filter or select a different field in order to filter. And we can come here to value filters, click top 10. Now this is going to filter the top 10 items, which would, in this case are the candidate names, by the sum of the candidate contribution. So we'll take the highest number associated with each item. So this is exactly what we want, so we'll click OK. You'll notice it filters all of them out. And we'll make this more readable by clicking currency. Okay, so we have these. Now we also wanted to know whether there's an obvious correlation between the personal contributions and the wins. So we're going to come down here to this winner category. We'll put that right next to it. So you'll notice that the winner column, it just has a Y or a blank. So the default for Excel is it reads in that field as a text, and it just counts the number. So we have a count of the number of wins for these people. Then in order to be a little bit more helpful and look for the correlation, we'll sort this largest to smallest, see who's contributed the most to the lowest. We can see that we have quite a range right here. And then the question was whether there's any evidence that candidates who have personally contributed large sums of money basically have influenced the outcome of their elections. And we can see that we have a few candidates who have personally contributed a lot to each campaign, but we don't see any strong correlation as to the influence it has on who the winner was. So we can conclude that maybe it's not the best idea that the candidate puts in a lot of her own funds. Great, I hope this was helpful, and good luck.